Told you.
This is the intro now.
Told you we could get real trashy with it real fast. I have no shame in admitting I am weeb trash.
Well, I think that's a good starting point. Let me get my notes out from under your thing. Alright, so welcome all to our podcast if you're in here, which I don't think anyone is, but we do not have a name for this podcast. I'm your host, Steven Sutherland, and with me is my co-host for this beginning of our journey here. Introduce yourself, please.
Oh, I'm Emmy Duncan. I'm here.
What do you do, Emmy?
Currently I work for GameStop,
Okay.
but I'm trying to be a writer, so.
Alrighty, cool. And why would you like to podcast with me?
This is awesome.
Because it's awesome, yeah. Cool. Well, that makes me feel pretty good, so that's good. So as far as what I do, I don't really do much. I have just a basic boy job at the ocean front, but I love video games. I like to talk about video games. I just like the industry in general. Yeah, so I just want to do this for fun and see how it goes in the future. Some of my favorite games are like action RPGs. I love Kingdom Hearts. The first Nier is one of my all-time favorite games of all time. I love Automata as well. I have a Kingdom Hearts tattoo.
Yeah, I still haven't played Nier.
It's so good.
I know.
It's so good.
So
the first one is my favorite on a narrative level, and then the second one is just like a gameplay. Like, it's great. It just plays so good.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about Automata, but I already have pretty much like the first one spoiled for me, so I know what happens in the end, and I'm not going to talk about it because
no, it's great. Yeah. So anyway, that's some of my favorite stuff. Do you have any like favorite games that you like?
Assassin's Creed. I actually have a canon tattoo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's right there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I need to get touched up, but
no, trust me, this one right here, I got it done by my friend, and it's like, you might think I've had this for a while, but I've had this for like less than a year.
Really?
It's just faded because he didn't go in deep enough.
Oh.
Yeah. So I want to get it touched and actually be like nice and dark, and then I want to get a Nier tattoo also.
I'll talk to my brother. He's got a good couple of artists that he
cool.
goes and sees.
Awesome, thank you. So anyway, this week, as we've been talking about, Gamescom is happening, so there's a lot of noise.
It makes it more.
Yeah, we're just hanging.
It makes it real.
Yeah, so Gamescom this week. Also, previously, Quakecon happened. So you'll be talking about Quakecon a little bit after we go over some Gamescom news. So
that's fine.
So the way that we're doing this is we're going with sections. Section 1 will be the news, and then Section 2 will be like just a random kind of topic that we want to talk about.
Yeah.
And then we close off like that. So, the news. Number 1, the Until Dawn developers, Supermassive Games, have announced their next line of games called the Dark Pictures Anthology. The first game in these series of horror titles is called Man of Medan, I believe, or Medan? Man of...
I think it's Medan.
Yeah. So that is slated for a release sometime in 2019. Did you ever play Until Dawn?
No, I'm actually not a big horror genre fan.
Okay.
Prey's like my one exception because it's Bethesda and Arcane and I love them and they can have my money for literally ever.
Yeah.
No, horror games really aren't my go-to. Honestly though, the way that they've titled this one though kind of reminds me of like Fatal Frame.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I played those.
Yeah, so like I didn't play this because I'm a scared baby. And
good.
I do understand the premise though that you had to go to this house and you had to like take pictures in order to find the ghosts and stuff and hope that you didn't get killed by them.
Yeah.
Kind of sounds like it's gonna be along those lines. Have they announced anything further with that or no? This is just like a title
I think it's a title announcement. They have a trailer actually. There's a trailer that you can watch. Basically what it looks like is Until Dawn, like if they were to make a sequel, but it's not like the same characters. It's more like it's a type of game where your character will be running down like the woods or something in a path, and then left will be like, do you want to go down this path which is safer but it's a slower path and you won't get away from the killer as quickly, or do you want to go down this path which is climbing a cliff, it's dangerous but you'll get to your destination quicker, and based on the decisions that you make determines the outcome of the end of the story, or as things happen throughout the story, which is basically the deaths of the characters. So if you play it correctly, all the characters could survive. If you play it poorly, then all of them could die, or two could live, or one could live, or etc., etc.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's that kind of game. It's actually a fun game to play like in a group of friends. So you just be sitting there and like maybe one person could play and you could be like, no, go that way. We're not going this way.
You know, that sounds like it could be a fun drinking game.
It is. Oh my god! Like, I actually, when I say I played it, I wasn't the one controlling. My friend was, and we just kind of like spent like an evening just playing through it, and it was a lot of fun.
Oh shoot! I might have to go pick that up from work.
Yeah, it's actually it should be like really cheap now.
Yeah, it's like $20.
Yeah, hit it up with like a friend definitely, and just like I know like you like not into scary just because it's scary, but like if you're playing with someone, it's lots of fun.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you're talking to the person who like. When I started Skyrim, I jumped into like the very first dungeon that you could go to because that's what you do, and the Draugr started popping out of the walls, and
Hi.
hello, good, how are you?
Good.
And it took me back to like this like little 10-year-old me playing Returnal Castle Wolfenstein on the PC, and like the Nazi zombies just popping out of the wall. So I had that 10-year-old primal fear, and I crouched for every single dungeon that I went through because I'm not letting those Draugrs catch me. Oh no. Mm-mm. So scared cat.
Okay. But yeah, if you can check it out, it's super fun.
Yeah.
Number 2 on the list, Devil May Cry 5 now has a release date.
Yes.
Yeah, so the game is now set for a March 8th, 2019 release date, and there's a there's a trailer available online to watch. In the trailer, it has like Dante doing weird ass Dante shit, and like
he ripped apart his motorcycle.
He ripped apart his motorcycle and started dual wielding with it.
Like, did they just turn into like? Is it like is like pointed and he just pulls it off and it's like a sword?
I mean, honestly, your pitch for Devil May Cry 5 will be just that. Dude takes out his motorbike, rips it in half, and dual wields with it. Elevator pitch, Devil May Cry, right
it's
there.
It's just like buy it. Some dude rips a motorcycle in half and impales other people with it. Do it.
Nero's doing Nero stuff, and the one lady that he's with, I forget her name, the driver of like the van.
Yeah,
she looks really cool. Actually,
they said her name a couple times in the trailer, but honestly, like I don't know. She strikes me as she'd be like that level one-off character, but I don't really want to see more of her.
No,
you
don't think she's gonna be like that interesting?
No, she could end up being really well done, and I get the feeling that they're not showing us her true potential through all these trailers, which is a given. You don't want to give everything away up front.
Yeah,
but
did you ever play Bayonetta?
I love Bayonetta. I feel
like this game sort of has like that off the walls kind of context like Bayonetta does.
Well, I mean, Bayonetta kind of stemmed off this whole idea, like the whole stylish action thing that Bayonetta has came from Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
Maybe Bayonetta took it in a different direction, and Devil May Cry decided, hey, we like this direction. Let's try to play off that now too, since they played off us, which is fine. You see a lot of it in the game.
Yeah, actually, they would play off each other too. That's cool. I like that innovation. Cool.
Well, the writers get passed around all the time between each other.
Oh, true. Yeah. So off topic real quick, did you see that whole plagiarism story?
No, I didn't.
So, okay, we're going off topic a little bit. That's fine. So there was this guy that worked at IGN, and he had written a review for Dead Cells. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, Dead Cells actually got its street they lifted before it even came out. And they said as soon as it comes in, sell it. So I know that it's a little platformer kind of thing. It's roguelite.
So this dude wrote a review on it, and he completely plagiarized it off of this YouTube channel.
Oh, God.
Because this YouTuber was like, I wish IGN would have like said something to me before like rewriting my article, or not article. He did a YouTube video, and so they did like work. Kotaku posted an article on it, and then there was more like background checks done on this guy. I forget his name, and he plagiarized like almost all his articles that he's like a lot of articles that he's written on IGN, and like wrote like Under Fire, and he just like copied stuff. It's just like there, like you can't even like deny like it's coincidental like copyright stuff. You know? Yeah, so that's why I was like thinking about like writers and stuff, and I was just like, that's just crazy how you can like go, especially because it's a video review too. It's not like an actual written thing. So he listened to these people's like video reviews and like wrote stuff down.
Like transcribe.
Yeah, pretty much like transcribing, and it's just.
Jeez,
but he got fired, and
good riddance. Hey IGN, if you need a writer.
There you go. She's trying to get that out there. Get some clout. Get some clout going on.
Man, that's my dream.
There you go.
Gotta chase it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, back on the news. Number 3, we got another release date. It's full of them at Gamescom this week. So this time is for the game Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice, from the people that made the Souls game, which is From Software.
When did this get announced?
Today.
Ah, okay.
Either today or yesterday. Today is Wednesday, by the way. The 23rd? No, 22nd. So the release date that they have is March 22nd, 2019. I'm noticing a pattern with March of 2019 because that's like the second game now.
Yeah.
So March 2019 or March 22nd, 2019. And I saw the gameplay for it. It looks like Tenchu. Looks like Tenchu and Dark Souls combined.
That's kind of how they were marketing it though at E3 though.
Yeah, I mean, like when I saw the gameplay today, I was actually stoked for once though, because like when I saw what they had at E3, I was like, oh, that's cool, that's neat, I might check that out. But for some reason, like I don't know, it's like super actiony and yeah, it looks neat.
But see, that's kind of what drew me in when I first saw it though, especially the ending where they had the snake. Just...
Yeah, I remember that.
I was like, oh my god, this looks really, really good. I don't even like Dark Souls, but I'd play the hell out of this game.
I can't believe it's already been like almost 3 months since E3 happened.
I know.
That's nuts.
That's
like,
so crazy.
And then we got all this information now.
That's the wonderful thing about the gaming industry is that there's always something being talked about.
Yeah, always something going on. There's always a conversation.
There really is though.
That's what I like. That's why I want to do this, because I'm just like, man, it's so interesting.
When did Ruby pop up?
Oh, we gotta, my bad. That means that somebody did a thing. Let's go. Daft William, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out. There you go. I got to follow.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
Yay.
I'll keep that up there. There's my text app. There you go. Okay. What are we talking? Oh, yeah. Sekiro. Yeah, Sekiro looks cool. I'm down for that. I'm in for all these things. Number 4. Life is Strange 2 was shown this week with its first trailer. The game focuses on two brothers, Sean and Daniel Diaz. Episode 1 is scheduled for this Monday, September 27th.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, so did you ever play Life is Strange?
Not a big fan of episodic gaming.
You know, I haven't played them. It's not that I'm not a fan, it's just like there's nothing that makes me go, I need to play this.
I mean, like, I've done other things like that out of Square, like Murdered, Soul Suspect. That one was really, really good. I really like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know, there's just something about Life is Strange didn't really grab me. It's just, I don't know, maybe it's because, you know, Gabe destroyed episodic gaming with not understanding the number 3.
Half-Life. And like I love how I just know exactly what you're talking about.
That's because everyone knows that Gabe does not know how to count the number 3.
I think he had a thing at Gamescom this weekend. I think they were talking about their own sort of distribution thing that they're trying to do. Or something.
But they've already got Steam.
That's what I'm saying, but there was something else that, or maybe somebody else was trying to compete with Steam, and he was talking about.
I could see that. A lot of people, Steam is like the most popular medium, but a lot of people are starting to compete with that. I know that Blizzard's got their own thing, and then EA's got Origins, which is kind of cool. But now Bethesda's rising on the up and coming for that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I saw, with Half-Life 3, it's like I always feel like the day that we'll see Half-Life 3 confirmed will be when Valve is just like, guys, we gotta do something. Like I feel like they're almost saving it for like, we're fucked, let's press the button, the oh shit button, Half-Life 3 is coming, you know, even though I don't think they would ever be in that situation.
I don't know, they might. People are starting to get a little pickier, and you know, they want the companies to actually listen to them. I think that's why we're seeing a lot of really good success out of Bungie.
Yeah.
I know that Activision kind of slows their progress down a little bit, but I mean, Bungie's done some really good things. Like they took out Eververse, which, to be honest, I spent a little bit more money than I care to admit trying to get the spicy ramen emote, but I got the game for free, so I don't necessarily feel so bad.
There you go.
Although I did buy the huge $200 collector's edition, so
yeah.
What does that say about me?
No, yeah, Bungie gets flack too for like stuff with Destiny all the time. Even though I think Destiny 2 is a good game.
I'm really excited for Forsaken.
It looks cool.
I'm really, really stoked.
I actually picked up the it was on sale, like everything plus premium. So I have like all the current DLC out. My level is pretty low, but I need to play more. Yeah,
I'm basically going to be grinding all day Monday through Solstice of Heroes.
So you're like currently playing?
No, not currently. No, I haven't actually touched Destiny since, God, almost a year. Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah, I've missed all the DLCs that have come out.
No, I feel you. I mean, I like it. It's cool. And I talked to somebody randomly at a store, because they saw my tattoo and they just started talking to me about Destiny, and they were saying how they finally feel like it's becoming the game that they wanted it to be, like right now, which is weird because that's what like the first Destiny went through, because they went through and it had the shaky like launch and everything, and people were like, we want more, we want more stuff, and then they gave them more stuff.
And I think that's the problem. People throw out a lot of ideas, and what's working for a company now could continue to work, and then people want to shake it up, which is there's nothing wrong with that. Innovative ideas come along all the time, and who knows if they're good or bad until you actually put them into application. The biggest problem though is that people were complaining about like certain things not being there, you know, like certain things being there that they didn't want, so they changed stall to try and accommodate these fans who were screaming at them, and then it backfired miserably, which is why they did a lot of what they did. I also took out Eververse because Hawaii became the first state to outlaw loot boxes on
I read that. Yeah, that's crazy.
So they just kind of like took it out. They didn't really give an explanation as to why, but like if you follow up with a lot of the news, you can kind of infer and put two together. But a lot of people were upset because they're just like, what about my loot boxes? And like, you could have farmed for that anyways. Like it's not that big a deal.
Oh my god, I remember the conversation last year in gaming was just loot box. Like towards the end of the year, it still kind of is.
And it's funny because EA really kind of started that whole loot box thing.
Star Wars.
And then they announced that they're just going to get rid of it.
Yep.
And it's interesting because you can kind of see how all these gaming trends start. Like EA's been around forever. Mm-hmm. And they tried to push something that they thought would be good for the industry and for the developers and all this stuff, and it ended up backfiring miserably because it was a lot of money, and people were getting really upset, and you know, it's like it should be in the game. And whereas I agree, I don't mind necessarily paying a little extra money so that the developers can still get make their bread.
Yeah, I get that. I feel the same way actually. Anyway, we went off on a tangent there, but that's fine. talking about Destiny 2 and loot boxes.
Sorry, that seems to be me.
No, I like that. That's good. Let's move on to number 5. A new animated short was dropped today by Blizzard for Overwatch. The short is centered around the character D.Va, and you can check it out on their official YouTube channel. Today, Blizzard also has plans to show off more information of their other titles, as well as including StarCraft 2, Heroes of the Storm, Diablo 3, which is playable on Switch on the show floor, and Hearthstone. So, I assume you didn't watch the D.Va short.
Actually, I did.
Oh, did you?
I did.
Hell yeah, let's go. What'd you think?
I don't even play Overwatch.
I know. Me neither. I do not play Overwatch. I just love the presentation of Overwatch.
Do you remember when Overwatch came out?
Yeah.
Do you remember what else dropped that week?
What?
It was Lego Star Wars Force Awakens.
Really?
I was more excited for Lego Star Wars than I was for Overwatch.
Actually, I think I remember when it came out. I don't know if they were doing the physical version when it came out also for Overwatch.
They were.
Okay, so I think people were picking it up and also were like, "You want to pick up Lego Star Wars?" I'm like, let's go.
I was just like, no, Lego Star Wars. This is my childhood right here. This is how me and my brother bonded.
So, like, my good buddy plays Overwatch religiously, and I didn't think he'd actually get into it like that. He's not the type of person to play like those types of games, but he got really into that one. And he wants me to play, and I played a little bit, and it's just kind of lukewarm for me, the gameplay. Like, I'm just like, okay, this is cool. Like, you know, taking... That's my... Okay. That's my text thing. Sorry, I should have probably turned that down. Okay. Yeah, Overwatch is cool. It's just... I have a hard time getting into it, but I love the cinematics, and I love the characters.
The lore is really interesting once you get into it.
Blizzard makes cool things. That's what I think.
I always joke that they'll never get my support solely based on how many standees I've had to put up for them. They're awful to put up and assemble.
They do advertise quite a bit. They're just like,
don't get me wrong, the standees are huge and they're cool and they're in your face, and if you take them home, which by the way, you can go into any GameStop if they have them, and if they're throwing it out, ask them for it. They'll probably give it to you if they're not dicks.
True.
But dear God, setting that thing up takes at least an hour and a half minimum, and that's just with one person.
There's gonna be a new huge D.Va stand now.
Oh no. God! Don't put that on me.
They're gonna announce something crazy.
Don't put that on me. I'll cry.
Overwatch 2. No. Yeah, that's cool. What do you think of the short though?
I thought it was really, really good.
Yeah, I thought so too. I'm just like, are they ever gonna make a movie? Like, it looks so good. Cinematic wise.
I could see how they could.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting though, because most of the cinematics are about what, like 10 minutes long, 5 to 10 minutes long.
8 to 10, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be interesting because like they have so many heroes, like you'd have to almost condense it down in a way.
True. Moving on. Cool. Yeah, D.Va looks cool. Number 6, Xbox Games Pass news. So this is kind of weird because I'm not really an Xbox gamer this generation. I'm like PS4, Nintendo, and stuff. But
I mean, that's fair.
We could go over this. 2 things I wanted to cover was that the Games Pass program is going to get a mobile app, and on that mobile app, you'll be able to like manage your subscription and do all sorts of interesting things. And then the Halo Master Chief Collection is coming to the service on September with Xbox One X enhancements and the long-awaited update fans have been waiting for that stabilizes and makes the game just good. So one thing, even though I don't like play on Xbox right now, Halo is still like my all-time favorite shooter.
Right?
Yeah.
It's hard to go against a classic.
I can't. Like, I played a bunch of Halo 2, and Halo 3 was like one of the hugest launches for games like ever for me. Like when Halo 3 came out, it was like, that's like nostalgia for me. I'm like thinking, we're buying Mountain Dew, we're going out and getting the game when it comes out.
You get the live wire.
Yeah,
you get the bottle with massive.
No, they had the game
it.
fuel. There was the game fuel. Let's go. Like, and then you stayed up all night. You beat the campaign in one go, and then you're just on Xbox Live. And that was like 360 Xbox Live. That was my shit. So that will always be like really special to me. So I'm really happy to see that they're still supporting Halo. I'm excited.
I mean, Halo is one of their flagship franchises.
Yeah, yes. I mean, and they did a quick announcement for Halo. I think it's called Infinite,
which I'm not entirely pleased with. Yeah, believe it or not.
There was actually a recent article where they were like, "It's Halo 6, but we're getting away from the numbers. But it is after 5."
Okay, so they did announce that. Okay, that's good because I was about to be really, really pissed. Because if they don't give me my fucking conclusion from 5, I will absolutely go to the headquarters and just like rave like a mad woman.
What'd you think about 5's story?
Personally, I loved it. I don't get why people give it as much shit as they do. Okay. They pulled in a whole bunch of stuff from the books. Yeah. Which have you read the books?
I have. I read one a long time ago, and it was like the first one that you could read.
Oh, Fall of Reach.
Yeah, I read Fall of Reach.
The one where it was talking about like how he got kidnapped as a kid.
Yeah, I haven't read any new ones.
To be honest, my personal favorite is probably still Ghost of Onyx.
Oh, I know that one. Yeah, I haven't read it, but I know of it.
Oh, dude, that one was the best one, and it's a really good tie-in. Like, if you haven't read Ghost of Onyx, like, go out and buy it. It's like $8.99 at Barnes and Noble.
I haven't read like a good book in a while.
But it brings a lot of revelations as to why Halsey was being tried as a war criminal at the beginning of 4.
Okay.
Because it talks about the missing Spartan 3 program.
What do you think about like what happened to Cortana in 5?
To be honest, I kind of called it.
Yeah.
I really did. So like at the end of 4, when she gets sucked up into the composer and then she pulls Master Chief in, like she's got a physical being. Like it stands to reason that if the composer can suck up actual physical humans and turn them into a digital life form, the reverse would be opposite for Cortana. Okay. Which they kind of showcased that. And of course, it was a touching moment and I was in tears. And then my brother walks in the room and goes, Cortana's got nipples. And I was like, fuck you. You ruined my moment.
Oh my God.
So that was my experience with that. But everyone's just like, Cortana's dead. Cortana's dead. And of course, I'm sitting there at work and I'm like, shut your whore mouth. Cortana's not dead. Because I mean, it was shown throughout the game that with the Diadact, he could basically pull himself into like a slip space bubble and protect him and the composer. So when Cortana kind of sucked him up, it made sense that it would also go into another slip space bubble. And then it just kind of spit him out, which is fine. I mean, we need Chief. He is literally the integral part of the story.
He is Halo. To play. Yeah, that was like, so I liked 5 story. I do think like some of the complaints about like not enough Master Chief is correct.
But if that's the case, then you could argue the exact same thing out of 2.
Arbor is great though. Like, I don't know.
Locke was really
He's cool.
good.
He's cool.
They talk about him a little bit more in the books than they do with the games. Like he's mentioned.
He's not
a
bad character.
No, he's not. They mentioned him briefly in ODST.
Yeah,
because he was one of the Oni agents.
I liked ODST.
See, it was really good.
Yeah.
For me, it was like I much would have rather read it as a book.
Yeah,
which is why I got really upset with Reach because it wasn't the book.
If you could see,
which is awful. I'm a horrible fan.
If you could see like a book being its own game, would you? Like any of the books that are out?
Oh shit.
Yeah, 30 for a loop there.
There's probably a couple that I'm drawing up like. Actually, you know what? There's this really, really good series that I read from Ferret Steinmetz. And it's about this guy, and he is when you love something so much in this world, you gain the power over it. So they're called Mancers, and then it's Mancy, and it's just basically just a bastardized form of, But he's a bureaucramancer.
Okay.
So he loves bureaucracy and paperwork so much because he's a boring ass human being that he gained the power over it, and because of this special power, he almost turns into like a Walter White.
Okay.
And creates this crystal. Whoa. And this crystal's in high demand. They have less pure forms of it, but he creates the most pure form, which negates any sort of after effect of using your power.
Okay.
And that would actually be really kind of neat to see, because the first book is all about he doesn't want to admit that he's got this power. Being a Mancer is bad, and they ship you off to this thing and they take away all your emotions, and you work for the government at that point. You're basically a robot. Okay. His house gets burned down and his daughter is left disfigured, so he goes on this crusade to try and get her the help that she needs, but he ends up turning into this flex dealer, which is the crystal that I was talking about. But it turns into a bigger conspiracy where he's now hunting down this crazy Mancer named Anything, and you have to go and she it's all over the city. She's causing mass chaos. Okay. And of course, there's different people throughout the series that you meet as well. So his partner who comes in and helps him is a video game Mancer. So she has the power to turn anything that she sees into a video game.
Oh, that's cool.
Later on in the series, there's a guy who loves Fight Club so much that's his Mancy. It's friggin' Fight Club.
Oh no, that's so cool though. That'd be neat. Yeah,
it's really, really good. His daughter ends up being a Mancer at some point as well, but I'm not gonna get into that because you got to read the books to find out. But that would be a really interesting game to play. Yeah. If you just condense it all down into one.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, I have 2 more stories. There's a lot of stuff, by the way, that happened at Gamescom, and it's currently still happening, so I apologize if anyone's listening and they're like, oh, they didn't talk about this. There's a lot of shit happening. I just picked the stories that were bigger and happening.
It's the stuff that has more weight.
Yeah, it has a little more weight to it. So I'm sorry if I don't talk about Lego something. I know Overwatch has a Lego tease also. So they tease Lego something. I don't know if you can play as Lego characters coming up soon.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah. Oh my God. So sorry if I didn't cover that, even though I just kind of did. So there you go. Number 7, Shenmue 3 now has a release date, which is really, really far away from now. The crowdfunding game is set for an August 27th, 2019 launch, which is a full year's way out. Shenmue 1 and 2 collection was released yesterday for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. So I don't know if you have any knowledge of Shenmue. I do not.
I did not play that.
I know it's a big nostalgia. The first ones were on Dreamcast. That old. 1 and 2 are out. If anyone wants to go and pick those up, give that a try. It's weird that they would announce such a far away release date. It's literally a year away, August next year.
I don't know. I've seen them do this before though, where I've seen games get a launch date of a year or more out.
Do you think it's gonna hit?
I don't know. It really depends. I think a lot of it's going to depend on how well Shenmue 1 and 2 does. I realize that whereas this is an older game, but the nostalgia around it is pretty big. So there's probably a pretty big fan base behind it, and I just haven't seen it yet.
What I think is the reason they gave an actual date is because this game is crowdfunded.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the game is crowdfunded, and I guess they want their backers to actually have something hey, it'll be here. We got a whole year to develop it. This is what we're going for. It'll be out right there.
I mean, as long as it doesn't turn into another Mighty Number 9.
Oh, God. Yeah, okay. Also, I don't want it to turn into Mega Man Legends 3, because that was, heartbreaking for me, because I love Mega Man Legends so much. That's me. If you're going to ask me, what's your favorite Mega Man series? I'd say Legends because I'm a weirdo. But, I mean, I like X. The X, Mega Man X is great. Original Mega Man, of course, but there's something about Legends that I just like a lot.
They just have 1 and 2 launch too, and the double pack.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. The collection, you can buy them separate or together. I thought about picking that up, but yeah, when they did Legends 3 and it was crowdfunded, also there was a point where they were like, all right, we want the community to do art for the game, submit your art, and then
it was a hot mess.
They canceled it, and they were like, fans didn't care enough. I'm like, what do you mean? We wanted the game. You guys just did this. You guys just did this really weird. Come on, man. And then you give us Mighty Number 9, commercial failure that was in development forever. Everyone's like, when's Mighty Number 9 coming out? Here's the game. It looks cool. And then it was just half done. Yeah, and then it was just it had no soul.
It was missing that heart, that hook that gets you.
Let's get Beck as an Echo Fighter for Mega Man and Smash Brothers.
Oh my God.
Speaking of Smash, oh my God, I can't wait for Smash Brothers so much. if you're gonna ask me, like, Smash is like on a different level of hype for me than anything else. It's like I have love for games, and then Smash is like, Jesus Christ.
So you were that person where it's like they had that bird meme, and it's just like, so we have a couple of Smash.
Yeah, dude,
Smash!
that's me.
It's just the crows yelling Smash.
I'm sorry if I'm like that, but like, I love Smash so much.
I'll eventually like put my $5 down on the pre-order because I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, this game is going to be sold out for Christmas.
Really?
I will not see
physical
this game.
copies.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I pre-ordered the game, and I pre-ordered the special controller. I have that down.
I don't know if they'll end up doing a double pack for it. I've also heard tell that they're going to be doing a Switch bundle with it.
Ooh. So, I know there's a bundle where you can get the controller, the game, and the adapter. But I already have an adapter because it uses the old one, so I don't need another adapter. So yeah, Smash is cool. Back to the news. Number 8. Indie. So I wanted to talk about this for a little because I think it's pretty cool, and it's also, if you're watching the Twitch channel, it's a GIF on the screen right now, which is a Hat in Time stuff. Yay. So indie title A Hat in Time will be coming. Emmy just waved her hands around. This is great. Indie title A Hat in Time will be coming to the Nintendo Switch. Gears for Breakfast also showed up the upcoming DLC for the game, which includes a new co-op mode, which is the other character that you can see on the screen right now. So you can play as both of those characters together in the game. And I know the game's been out for a while, but I've just like been, I don't know, waiting, and I thought they were going to do a Switch port, and they are, even though they were like, we're never doing a Switch port, and now they are. So
yeah, I kind of figured that most things will end up on Switch anyways, even if it takes a little bit longer, just because of like coding differences. Because from what I understand, that it's pretty significant between Xbox and PlayStation going over to Switch.
And they were like, we'll never do it. And then somebody was like, but money. Yeah, they were like, but money. And they were like, well,
honestly, though, this game would be, I think, a lot better suited for Switch than anything else. It's why I didn't pick up Shaq Fu on any other platform that came out except for Switch. Which the game is great, by the way.
Shaq Fu?
Yes, really? Shaq Fu Legend Reborn was fantastic.
Oh, I've heard of it.
Yeah,
I saw it actually.
So what they did is they kind of took the premise of the first game and then they just kind of threw it out. So it's very self-aware, it's very fourth wall breaking, and it's just it
okay.
Let me try to talk about one of the cutscenes. So there's a part, and I'm pretty sure, like, if you've seen the trailers in the GameStop when they had it, it was like this guy, and he's like, Shaq, you must go do this. But what they don't show you is the fact, like, through this entire cutscene, is that his mentor Ye is dying, and he's like, here's a gold bond that is passed down from student to teacher. And he keeps saying gold bond, and then it just devolves in gold bond. Master, why are you saying gold bond? I get paid every time I say it. And right before he dies, he's like, gold bond. And then his eyes go to X's. No! And then you get little potions around, and during one of the levels, you turn into a cactus, and it literally just pops up. It's like, Shactus. And he's like, I'm a cactus? Who the hell wrote this game?
He voiced it, right?
Yeah, he did it. He even rapped his own theme song for it, which was really good.
Oh my god.
It was fantastic.
I've just seen interviews with him. He's talking to people at like IGN or whatever, and like his hand is just huge, and he just like messes with people. It's just a funny, like whenever you see like Shaq on any kind of thing, you're just like, this man is massive, but he's just like playing around with everybody, and it's a lot of fun.
He looks like a big old teddy bear.
Yeah, so I figured like that is also kind of how the game might feel. So
it's just it just doesn't take itself seriously, and that's exactly what I love about it.
That's what's great. Yeah. All right, so that was the last news story. Shaq Fu. No, I'm just kidding. It was a Hat in Time. Yeah, so that was the last news story for Gamescom that I had set up. And did you want to take a break? We can if you want before we move on to like Quakecon stuff. You could talk about that.
That's entirely up to you.
Or we can get like a water. I can tell my mom that I'm alive or something.
You can tell your mom.
No, she's probably kidding. I was like, what's happening right now?
It's like something awesome.
We'll just go right into it. I'm fine.
All right.
I'm good. You don't need the bathroom or anything?
Okay.
Good to go? Cool.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, so I'll let you hand it over. Talk about what you want to talk about.
All right, so QuakeCon just passed, and I don't know about you, and I know I already said this earlier, but I love Bethesda. I fucking love Bethesda.
All right.
Like they're one of my favorite studios.
So whenever we do anything Bethesda related, I'll just hand it over to you.
I mean, if you just want to hear me rant and rave about why I think Bethesda's the greatest, and I'll just, suck their dick the entire time. That's fine. I have no issue with that. I can do the exact same thing with all the people who work on, you know, Assassin's Creed as well, except for the people who did the movie. That wasn't really good. But it was interesting because they tied it actually into the last game that they did.
I didn't see it.
So they did Animus Airy, just to derail real fast.
Sure.
Animus Airy was interesting because in the movie it has it like this thing and it's wrapped around your waist and it connects through your spinal cord via a needle. Which I don't know if...
Is that a canon thing?
It is.
Oh.
It is. They talked about it in Origins. They said it had to be in a medically sound environment.
Okay. So they did.
But for me, I'm just sitting there going, this is so not right because even one tiny little slip could potentially render you paralyzed.
Yes.
So from that standpoint, I didn't like it. I thought it was very unbelievable. But I mean, the whole story kind of is unbelievable. Because I mean, you have to connect it up to you somehow. For Desmond, in the initial one, it was just laying on his back. But with 2 and anything beyond that, it just plugs you right in through like a fucking vein in your arm. Because it's accessing, it stands to, I mean, they're accessing your DNA, so I'm assuming that was the big thing. They probably took some of Desmond's blood and like popped it right in there.
The last Assassin's Creed game I played was 3.
You didn't? Oh.
I played a little bit of Black Flag.
Black Flag is regarded as like one of the best in the series.
I just had fun playing that game. Like it was just, I played a bunch of it. I didn't really get too far into the story. I just liked playing it. I thought it was fun.
The story was really, really good. It's definitely, like, I mean, Edward doesn't even become assassin until, like, the last 45 minutes of the game. And it's like Origins. Like, you don't even really see the Brotherhood until, like, the last 45 minutes of the game. But they tie everything in, and it was really, really well done because, like, you have this entire thing. And that was the neat thing about Origins is that it was, it talks about the founding of the Brotherhood. So it goes into what led up to Bayek becoming the very first mentor, which is super cool.
Of course.
But it was neat because like they talked about it, and then like he had this eagle skull on his neck like a necklace, and he pulled it off and he was like, I'm done. And you know, because this is the point where him and I are breaking up. Like they lost their son. She worked for Cleopatra and almost abandoned all her morals, and it was rough. It was real, and it hurt. And it was interesting because it shows them going off on their own separate ways and how she, you know, discarded her name of Aya for something else.
Oh, okay.
So he pulls it off and he throws it into the sand and he walks away, and then she picks it up. And I actually didn't know this until this point because I just didn't bother to really look into it, to be honest. But when she pulls up that beak, it's actually it's the symbol. Oh, it's literally like the bottom part of an eagle skull.
That's awesome.
I had no clue, and I was like, you're kidding me. This is great.
Wow.
So but then they had the overarching theme that you associate with Assassin's Creed show up for the first time, and then it just kind of goes from there. You also get to see Caesar get stabbed, which is great.
Ooh, that's neat.
I is the one who started it.
Let's go.
It was amazing. My god,
I like stuff like that. Anyway, Bethesda.
Oh yeah.
Talk about Assassin's Creed. Who's the main guy that does Bethesda? Who's like runs?
Pete Hines is a senior VP.
Okay.
But everyone really kind of associates Todd Howard as like the face
I was gonna say
it.
Todd Howard is the guy that called everyone degenerates at E3, right?
Oh god.
That was a fun thing.
He's sassy.
He was sassy. I was like watching
sassy.
it. He was,
did you see the interview he did like shortly after E3, and they were like, "Why did you put Skyrim on Alexa?" And he goes, "You want me to stop putting Skyrim on places? Stop buying it."
Yeah. He was like, "Stop buying it." I was
just like,
dude, he's great. I remember seeing like people on Twitter was like, "Can this man please have my children?" He's just like great.
I mean, he's married. He's got a kid.
Yeah. So.
And it's funny because I was reading an interview that he had, and he was talking about how his son was like all about Switch and all about Legend of Zelda, and he's just like, "Son, can you just please try this game?" Yeah. It was Skyrim. So his son finally sits down and he played it, and he goes, "Dad, do you believe in Talos? Do you worship him?" And he's asking him all these questions about the Aedra and the Daedra, and I was just like, "Oh, you're so cute." Honestly, I want this man to be my mentor. Like his writing style is brilliant. I mean, he's the one who pretty much did everything for Oblivion. That was his big first breakout. He'd worked with Bethesda for a while. Yeah. Like he got started with like Hammerfell, but Oblivion was his first true big thing. And honestly, I could probably write a love letter to this man, but that's a little unnecessary. Sure. Anyways, he's got a good attention for detail, and he's got this great idea for where he wants the story to be long term. And I actually have a theory that he's been slowly prepping us for 76, because when they introduced Fallout 4, they're like, you can build your own shelter.
Yeah, I remember that.
Or you can build your own settlement. Yeah. I think he was prepping us for 76, because 76 you're basically doing the same thing.
That's true.
So he thinks long term.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm really excited for that. But a lot of people are starting to associate Pete Hines with it now too. Pete Hines is great. For the E3 thing, he's like, oh yeah, Wolfenstein's finally coming over to VR because we need to spread our platform and fuck Nazis to everywhere.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
That whole thing was glorious.
Pete
If
Hines
you
is
didn't
great.
watch the full thing,
I actually did. Yeah, I watched it.
He just pulled out his stuff, the microphone. What was that even?
That was when it had that. There was also like an awkward moment where he was with a one girl, and they were like, "There's a thing." Yeah, I forget. That might have been what you were talking about.
Oh, the prey thing, where he's like, I don't know, I don't trust you, and he slaps the sticky note, not a mimic.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Honestly, that was brilliant. I laughed my ass off, and of course they teased Starfield, and I just like lost my shit.
That was a good. That whole presentation was pretty good. I think there was one part where it was like it slowed down a bit, but then like really picked up, and I was like, I want these games. These look cool.
It kind of did. What was really interesting though is that we actually had a Virginia Beach native on the stage for Bethesda.
Oh really?
Yeah, Christian Van Hoos.
Oh.
I actually do not know him personally, but I have a bunch of friends who do. And he used to go to school around here.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I guess from what I was told, he got started by really getting involved with Legends, and he just was always online and always talking with people about what they can do and like how to fix certain things and how to play the game. And Bethesda reached out to him personally and said, "We love this. Come be our community manager." Hi. Oh, I know. I'm not giving you attention.
My dog came in, and he just wants Emmy to look at her. Look at him.
I love you. You're a good boy. Yes, you are. Look at those pretty
Max,
eyes.
what do you want? What are you doing? She doesn't have treats for you. He only does that because he's like, oh, I want treats.
I think he just
likes you.
You want pets? You're such a good dog. I love you.
Anyway. Max, go.
You probably smell Aries.
Max, get out. Bothering. You're not bothering, but I love you. Doing podcast stuff.
Okay. Well, anyways, Quakecon. So they had everyone there, which was super cool.
Yeah.
Pete Hines was there, and obviously, since I work at GameStop, I get to see the whole Quakecon like little thing that they did, and I'm just over there like, God damn it! You should have got me to go over there because one of them got like a swag bag, which those swag bags are over $400.
So you guys actually had people that could go out?
It's mostly people who are more associated with the corporate offices, which is a little terrible. So they're the ones who work on like the GameStop TV and like are representatives.
Where was Quakecon?
Quakecon's in Texas every year.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's at the Gaylord Texan National or something.
Okay.
Have you seen the Gaylord Texan? It makes Katsicon at Gaylord National Harbor look like peasantry. And that's saying a lot.
I go to MagFest mostly, but it's the same place.
Yeah, it's the same place. Yeah. So you've seen that, and it looks like peasantry compared to
Really? Because that place is nice.
No, this thing is like a ginormous mansion on a goddamn hill with like a lazy river. It's like if the National Harbor in Gaylord and the Kalahari had a baby, and like said, well, we're just gonna put it in Texas because bigger is better. That's it. That's literally it. And the word, I don't know why I say this is the worst part, but like, so I'm going to Katsicon again this year.
Okay.
And rooms there are going to be costing me upwards of about $1,000 a night because I'm a giant baby who needs the atrium room. It's also my mom's first con, and I want to give her a good experience. Well, it's her first Katsicon. She's been to cons before with me. Then I want to give her a really good experience, which means that if she doesn't want to like deal with people, she can just go head up to the room, and I got tea, and she can go sit on the balcony and just watch people. It's nice and relaxing, and no, the Gaylord Texan, if you go out there for 3 nights, which is what I normally do for Katsicon, it wouldn't even break like $600.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
That's a lot.
Because I'm paying upwards of $300 a room a night.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and that's with con special.
Katsu's in like March, right?
It's February. It's always Valentine's Day weekend.
Sometimes it's like Katsucon will happen and then MagFest will happen like right after that. So I was like, my friends are like, we're going to MagFest or we're going to Katsucon? I like MagFest because it's just games more.
Yeah, it's 24-hour gaming convention.
Yeah, I love just like going out at night.
Apparently the theme this year is Halo.
Really? Oh, let's go! I'm so down for that.
I really, really, really want to go.
I might be able to go also because my friend works at a hotel chain that is part of Gaylord. I might get a discount. I don't know. I can maybe ask for you too if you want.
It really depends on where I am. I can't really go anywhere during holiday season because of GameStop. They put us on a more or less of a blackout once like the end of October hits because it's holiday season and we're entertainment industry, so we have to do it.
But anyway,
I keep derailing. Oh my god!
It's cool. I like derails. Let's go.
All right. So the first thing that I really want to get into is Doom Eternal.
Yeah.
Doom Eternal doesn't really have a set launch date yet.
No.
They were like, oh yeah, it'll be coming out like 2019, early 2020. So I'm figuring they'll probably launch it either around holiday or just after holiday. Bethesda normally plays things pretty smart. I can assume that we're going to hear a set launch date probably by the Video Game Awards this year.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Which is funny because
VGAs, let's go.
I actually didn't expect them to talk about Elder Scrolls 6 until the Video Game Awards this year.
It's crazy. They
pushed things up ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
And that's why I think Todd Howard has everything planned out long term. Of course, that just kind of tied everything back together. Anyways, so yeah, no, Doom Eternal announced that they have a Dark Souls style invasion PvP mode.
Really? Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. No, so I saw the gameplay trailer for it, and I saw he was going around and slicing people up. Like,
you see the new one?
Which one?
With the meat hook.
I didn't see that one. I'll check it out though.
Dude, the meat hook is great. It's literally like a grappling hook on the end of your shotgun, and then it only attaches to enemies, and you can eviscerate them.
I haven't played the first one. I'm assuming you have.
Yes.
Okay.
There was an Easter egg for Skyrim in there.
Yeah. Actually, I think I remember hearing about that one.
Yeah, like you can find a skeleton tucked away in a corner, and it's literally he's got the Dragonborn helmet and an arrow sticking right
That's
up the knee.
so cool. I thought about playing like the Switch version, but then I was like, I might just get on PS4. Play on PS4.
As far as I know, the PS4 and the Switch version are actually pretty close.
Yeah.
I think the graphics might differ just a hair, but it's not anything crazy.
Yeah. I thought Doom Eternal looked really cool. I was reading an article about why they didn't just call it Doom 2. So they didn't call this new thing Doom something because they didn't want to confuse people, I guess, with the naming. And then they didn't call this one Doom 2 because they don't want people to be like Doom 2 2019. They want it to be just like Doom Eternal. So,
but I like the fact that they actually like sat down and like listened to what their fans wanted. They're like, you want more gore? You got it.
Yeah.
You want bigger weapons? You got it. You want hell on earth? You got it. And I'm just like, I love you. Listen to your fans. You listen to your fans. And then of course they've announced that most of the narrative is going to be around Doomslayer, which is super cool. And then they have post-launch DLC surrounding him as well.
So if you were to guess when they're gonna put the launch date,
January 2020.
January
2020.
For Doom Eternal?
Yeah.
2020?
2020.
Not 2019.
No.
Oh wow.
I really don't see that
far.
doing it. Surprisingly enough, everything that I kind of have to make predictions on at work, I've been pretty spot on about. So earlier this year before E3 happened, a lot of people were coming in. They're like, PS5 is going to get announced this year, man. PS5 is going to be all they're going to be talking about. And they kept citing all these things. And it's like, okay, well, first of all, the video that you just showed me was not actually done by Sony. It's very impressive, and it does look like it was done by Sony, but it's not.
Yeah.
They even had a press conference about it. And they're like, we like some of the ideas in here. We might look into these, which is cool. I'm really happy for those people because that means that if they do start looking into it, they could get hired on, which would be really neat.
That'd be cool.
That's what I love about the gaming industry. They'll take all these different ideas and say, hey, we really like this. Come on board with our team. And, you know, everyone was like, oh, it's going to come out this year. And eventually they wore me down and I started thinking, well, yeah, maybe this could be a thing. You know, the rumors are pretty strong, but they're all fan-based rumors. I really don't know how much traction this is going to have.
I think we will see news of new hardware at next E3.
I don't think so.
No, not at all. I think because I've heard them talk about Xbox.
Well, I don't know. You could be right. You could be right.
Because I definitely think this generation is going out the door. I think it's on its way out.
Well, it's been around for 7 years now.
It's definitely hitting the thing. I honestly would not be surprised if E3 next year is a hardware E3. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Honestly, we're not really going to see any idea on what we could see up until like the Video Game Awards and maybe a little bit after that.
Yeah. I love the Video Game Awards.
I do too.
It's so fun. God,
I was so happy when they announced Breath of the Wild as Game of the Year.
Yeah, it was good.
I was like, yes.
Honestly, I loved Odyssey, Mario. Like,
it was a very, very close call.
Yeah.
If Breath of the Wild had not launched with the Switch, Super Mario probably would have won.
Wasn't PUBG on the list?
Probably.
I think PUBG was on the list.
I really don't care.
I was just like, what's happening right now? And
like, it's cool that PUBG is like it's a thing, but
PUBG. And I was happy because like Nier Automata got a bunch of like awards for stuff.
They got best soundtrack.
Yeah, that was the most important one for me because I love the music so much. But I was like, I would rather have Nier on the Games of the Year list than PUBG. That's me personally. Like, I think they would deserve it more, but what do I know? I'm just a guy.
It's just like, what do we know? We're not truly in the industry. Which surprised. Didn't you work for GameStop for a little while?
I did, but I was like a teenager.
I was gonna say, believe it or not, we can, because we've worked for GameStop, we can actually label ourselves as industry insiders because we can get tickets for E3 for free. Yeah, which is insane. I worked there when I was 16. And that was when you could be 16 and work there. Oh, shit.
Until they changed it to, because of the pawning stuff.
License.
Yeah. And I worked there for about 2 years, but then it's just other stuff. I need more money, and I was getting just GA hours back then.
Oh, trust me.
So, and you know what's weird is when I left, my manager was like, I would have totally like put you on as SGA or something eventually, and I'm like, thanks for telling me while I'm leaving.
And it's like eventually.
Eventually, yeah, that was always the thing. It was like an eventually thing, but.
Aw, what?
Max, come on.
He's so sad.
But anyway, yeah, Doom was cool.
No, it's gonna be really, really good.
I'm excited for it.
Fallout 76, we all know that comes out in November.
I got mine pre-ordered.
Which one did you get?
I got the basic version because I'm a basic bitch.
Hey, that's a derogatory term now.
Okay, honestly, when they announced it and they were like, here's the thing with the helmet, I was like, I'm getting that. And I was like,
I lost those Hunger Games too. I lost those Hunger Games. I wanted that. And I guess it was like, I was like, oh, well, I got the room for Katsucon. This is probably where I was going to lose
I went to the store the next day just to like.
Dude, it didn't even make it off our online sales.
I know. I was just, they were like, I don't think it's coming, like physically, or like you pre-order in store. Like, fuck. They was like, you got to do it online. And I was like, and then when you do it online, you got to pay all up front. I was like, damn, can I drop like however much it was?
Actually, believe it or not, if you do it through the website, and you don't do it through the web and store that
will they not
offer,
charge you until it ships?
They don't charge you till it ships, which is what I did for Assassin's Creed Collector's Edition this year.
So what version of Fallout did you get?
I got the Tricentennial version.
What's that come with?
It comes with a couple extra in-game stuff like guns and skins and stuff.
Nothing like too physical or
no, nothing really physical. No. What I really, because apart from that kick-ass helmet, because I mean, I've got the Collector's Edition
functional
with the Pit Boy. I wanted
That's cool.
The thing, and I was really upset that I couldn't get. But that map.
Yeah, it's glow in the dark.
I know, and I was so excited to see that. And okay, don't think a little. I'm not totally insane, I promise. But I went back and I kept rewatching it, and I kept pausing it to try and get a good, clear look at that map. And wouldn't you know what? I was fucking right with my thing. So they teased the trailer, right? And West Virginia, Mountain Mama, Take Me Home, all that stuff, the song. And I was like, wait a minute, hang on. So like, Vault 76 has always been referred to in Capital Wasteland.
Yep.
And they've been talking about this since 3. 111 was I'm sorry, not 111, 101 was just outside like DC in the Maryland area. So if it's right in that area, and believe it or not, 101's actually really close to where Bethesda's headquarters are located. I'm totally not a stalker, I promise. But it stood to reason that 76 would be right near Harper's Ferry. It's right there. So we're looking at the start of the Shenandoah River. It's on a mountain. It's literally on a cliff.
You were looking at this map.
I was looking at this map, and it's literally like 5 to 10 miles outside Harper's Ferry, and I was like, fucking called it!
We called that shit.
Suck it, nerds! Of course, I'm the biggest nerd of them all. So but it's neat because specials coming back. I mean, that's like the integral part of Fallout and how you level up, but it's doing it as a card system now. So they're kind of pulling like ideas that they have from like Legends, which is neat. And then you have these different cards, and you can rank them up, and you get all these super cool attributes, but you can share them with your friends, which is neat. They've also got an interesting idea for what happens with like griefers or just malcontents. As Todd Howard put it, they're turning assholes into interesting content. So basically, if you go on a killing spree and just start murdering your fellow players, you get a bounty system put on your head.
That's right, I read that.
Yeah. And it goes up. You also get a revenge system in place, kind of like what they did with Shadows of Mordor and Shadow of War, with double payout if you kill the person who killed you.
That's so cool.
I know.
Everything about like Fallout 76, like when it got announced, I was salty that like people were like, oh, it's not my Fallout because it's not a clearly single player experience, and I'm like, what are you guys talking about? This looks amazing. I
think this is a really good opportunity for Bethesda though. So as much as a lot of people want to say ESO is Bethesda, it's not.
Yeah.
It's ZeniMax. It's their parent company. I think this is a good idea for Bethesda to branch out, because if Fallout 76 does well, this means that we can see something similar for Elder Scrolls. And that's another one complaint that everyone's been bitching about. Yeah. Which is why when Elder Scrolls Online came out, they're just like, this isn't what I wanted. I can't do luck picking anymore. And it's just like, shut the hell up. You get to play with your friends, and it's set in Tamriel. What more could you want? Yeah. Of course it's not going to be a true Elder Scrolls game, because it's an MMO. Yeah. But that's just me.
ESO's got its own following, too.
I love ESO. Yeah. I think that's great. That's actually going to be one of the next things that I talk about, too. Okay. But 76 is cool because they're... you're not locked in to your character. You can change your character at
that's right.
Which is super cool.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. And I like that whole idea that they have with Sunset Overdrive for that as well.
I can't wait. I can't wait for Fallout. I'm just like, I've been playing a lot of Fortnite, and I want to stop playing Fortnite. So I'm just like, I haven't even picked up Fortnite. I need a game that just like...
Oh, Dwayne followed.
Oh, there you go. What's up,
Dwayne?
Hi, Dwayne. Welcome to the podcast. We've been talking for a while. It's a surprise that we're doing a podcast also. I didn't want to announce that we were doing a podcast together until the thing. I was telling my friends, I'm like, I'm doing a podcast again, and I have a new co-host. And they're like, who is it? I'm like, I'm not fucking telling you until it goes up. It's a surprise. So.
Well, hopefully.
Oh, you said a duck. Or is it a goose?
It's probably a duck.
It's a duck.
It's a duck.
There you go.
It's a duck.
It's a duck. Yeah.
Wait, Daft William.
That was earlier when Daft William.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, that's Jason.
Oh, there you go.
That's Jason.
He said, oh, hi. So these are your friends, because I don't have any. No, I'm joking.
Got plenty of friends.
Dwayne's my friend. I was mid-playing Doom. Nice. Cool.
So you probably just missed us talking about Doom Eternal. That's okay.
Yeah, we were talking about Doom earlier.
This will come back around.
Of course. We go on tangents, too.
Oh, yeah. And then they announced mod support. They don't know in what capacity, but mod support will be a thing.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
For Fallout 76.
We will have mods. Yeah, cool.
I imagine it'll be easier on PC like everything else.
I just want to fly around as Thomas the Tank Engine. Come on, give it. I got it in Skyrim.
It's just you fly around as Thomas the Tank Engine, then you have like a little goth player down in the corner.
Or just like, you know how you can drop nukes on people. The nuke's coming down, and it's Thomas the Tank Engine. Oh no, here's dun 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 dun.
Oh my god, that would be ridiculous.
That's mod support for it anyway.
Jesus. Okay, so next up is Elder Scrolls Legends, and we were talking about Christian earlier, so I hope someone kind of links this to him, because I've actually been really looking forward to getting into Legends. Yeah. It's been a little tough, especially since my phone is, like, stupidly terrible, and I need to get a new one. It'll die at 50%. So, just as a heads up, I don't endorse Moto. Fuck Moto. They're terrible.
Sponsored by Moto. No, I'm joking. Dwayne also says for me to get Quake Champions, it's better than Fortnite.
I do have a collector's edition in my work.
I've never played it.
It's $90 and it comes with a 12-inch statue.
Is that a PC only thing or Quake?
It's PC only.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm down. I have a gaming PC, so obviously if
Quake is very fast-paced.
Podcast. Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah. We got more duck. PC only. Cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Elder Scrolls Legends.
They're porting it over to the consoles, which is neat, but we might not see crossplay from Sony, and unfortunately,
that's right. Yeah,
Sony's been the holdup for a lot of crossplay.
I love the way that they were wording the article or how they were doing the interview. He was like, "So you're saying no PlayStation?" He's like, "Well, we're saying is if someone doesn't want to play or doesn't want to party, then we're not going to put it there. We're not necessarily saying PlayStation, but they're saying PlayStation." So
they've already came out and flat out expressed it, because Fortnite had the same issue too.
Oh, so I was pissed at that. As a Fortnite player, I downloaded it on the Switch and I was like, cool, let me just like link my account. I can use all my sweet skins that I paid money for. And then it's like, this account is tied to PlayStation, so fuck you. And I was like, fuck this, I'm not playing on the Switch now. Like, damn it. And it's PlayStation's fault because they don't want to play with anyone because they're the top cheese. Like, we don't need to fucking play nice with Xbox.
Well, see, and I don't understand that. Like, I'm not sure really what happened, what broke down in the communication, because with last gen, like, they had a whole bunch of JRPGs that were coming out on both consoles. I mean, for Christ's sake, Eternal Sonata came out on 360 before it actually came out on PS3.
Yeah.
So I really don't know what the breakdown was. I don't know who pissed off who. This needs to end. And like Sony, like, come on, man.
This is like a thing that I've been kind of mulling over in my head about, like, I guess the console wars. I think that if PlayStation doesn't stay on their toes, even though they're on top right now, I think Xbox next generation could really pull the rug underneath them, because I'm looking at what Xbox is doing. They're doing all these things that are just making people happy. Like, what do you guys want? All right,
they learned a lot from their shortcomings.
Learned so much, and I'm just like,
the original Xbox One.
When this new generation starts, if PlayStation just keeps like coasting, I don't know if they'll be on top again.
I don't know. They've already announced some things that are making people happy. So a lot of people weren't happy that PlayStation 4 wasn't backward compatible for anything.
Yep.
They've already announced with PlayStation 5, backward compatibility is going to be featured day one because they're not going to change the internal structure so heavily like they did from 3 to 4.
Yeah.
They said that all your games that you have right now can go up, which I think is neat. Of course, I also called the fact that backward compatibility would eventually show up in some way or shape or form. A lot of people were really pissed at launch for that because they're like, Sony and Xbox don't have this. Why should I buy it? I'm just like, because Microsoft's going to issue a patch in about a year, and I was right.
That's what makes me salty as like a PlayStation owner. Like, of course, I love my PlayStation, and I'm a PlayStation gamer.
That's why you can buy View.
I know, but I'm just like,
buy View.
I hate it because I'm just like, I look at what Xbox has, and I'm like, why can't I have that? That's so much cooler than fucking View. Like,
oh, that's the thing. Like, you see a lot of these companies, and they'll just closely monitor each other, which is why Nintendo's now doing their paid online subscription.
Yeah.
Not that I have an issue with it. I'm happily going to shell out the $20 that they announced that it was going to be.
Yeah.
That's fine. It means that they're going to have dedicated servers. They'll have more jobs available.
Yeah.
And it means that, I won't have to worry about like things crashing all the time or slow turnaround time or any sort of my information getting leaked. I'm fine with this. This is why when Sony went, pay for PlayStation, I didn't care either, because during the last 3 months of PlayStation 3's life cycle, there was like hacks almost every week.
Yeah.
And Microsoft didn't have that issue because they've been promoting paid subscription services for this since the original Xbox. I was fine with it. I don't mind it. I don't mind shelling out the money so people can have jobs. But not only that, I don't mind shelling out the money if it means that my information and my turnaround time is going to be secure.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
We got Dwayne also in the chat said PlayStation X platforms with Street Fighter 5 and Blaze Blue, so they have the capacity to do it. We have Coachery 690. I don't know if you know that person.
I don't recognize that username now.
Hello, what's up?
Hello.
Welcome to our podcast. We're talking about Bethesda and
we're talking about Quakecon right now.
We were talking about Legends.
Oh yeah, that was another thing that they were talking about. They don't want it to be a fire and forget kind of thing.
Is it going to be free to play?
Legends is free to play right now.
Cool.
It's been free to play, but you can pay like $60, almost like for like a battle pass for Fortnite. And what it'll do is it'll give you like an edge up instead of having to grind out to get certain things. It'll just give you a whole bunch of stuff right off the bat, so you can do what you need to do.
I'm down. I'll try it. I like card games.
It's neat because they're kind of bringing back the whole strategy thing, which is what I like. I like a lot of strategy. I remember distinctly playing one of the very first games on my PC was Age of Empires. I love RTSs, which is why I'm so excited because my Xbox One Xbox no longer operates on an Xbox OS. It's Windows 10, which means that I can actually buy Age of Empires. And once I get a laptop or a PC that can actually handle it, because right now I just have a Chromebook, which is neat. It's basically just a Linux build with a dedication to Google.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not bad. It's not necessarily user friendly, but if you can learn its intricacies, you're fine. But I'm getting ready to buy a laptop off of one of my best friends, and I'll be able to pay the $15 for Age of Empires, and I could just sit there and play all day long and get my little priest. That's the best part. I don't have a problem. I swear. But yes, Legends doesn't want to be a fire and forget kind of thing, kind of like Fallout Shelter. And it's not to say that one-off games aren't bad.
Yeah.
Even Bethesda's acknowledged that they're good because they've generated a lot of money from Shelter. But they don't want Legends to be that way, especially since it's one of their more long-standing series. They've actually got a lot of really long-term plans. They've got ways to introduce new people to it. And admittedly, I was interested in this since E3. It's been around for a while. It's just I just never really felt compelled to jump into it.
Yeah.
But hearing about it more in depth from someone who actually played it and believes in it made me want to do it. And that's the neat thing about Bethesda. Everyone who works there is passionate about what they do. Everyone who works underneath that entire sphere for ZeniMax is passionate about what they do. Even if that really tall Norwegian guy is just stands there and he's just trying to wave on the clapping, and he's like, that's what I'm waiting for, and it's just like, dude, come on. That's a little weird.
I'm just looking at the audio settings real quick so you can continue.
Oh, you're fine.
Somebody was saying that they couldn't hear much. Dwayne could hear, and I'm just trying to make sure it's turned up to a significant amount, but go ahead.
Okay. Next up is ESO.
Okay.
So ESO has been around for God, probably about 3 or 4 years now. And it started off as PC only, and then they eventually ported it over to console, which I was very pleased about, to be honest with you. It started off as a pay-to-play, and then they went free-to-play, because people were bitching.
Yeah, that's right, I remember.
People always got to bitch about something.
Yeah.
But they've gone through 2 huge DLC updates. And the last one just dropped this year, Somerset Isles. Believe it or not, I actually didn't pick up Morrowind.
I didn't either. I think I had the base version.
I was hoping for another statue for a Daedric Prince with Morrowind, and then they gave us a Dwarven Colossus statue, which was cool, don't get me wrong, but it's not what I was after. I have my statue of Molag Bal from the first one. And then now for Somerset Isles, I have Mephala.
Ooh. That's cool.
It's so cool. I
like that.
She's right next to my Molag Bal, and I just need them to come out with more statues like that, so I can just eventually collect all of them. But honestly, they need to give me Sheogorath, especially since he plays a more predominant role in ESO. Okay. He's my baby, and I love him.
I'd have more of my like
Scottish prince
weird figurines going around, but you know, I just got into this place that I'm at right now, so all my stuff is packed away. But I have a bunch of figurines and shit too. So
that's fun. I'm actually still in the process of selling off a couple of mine.
I saw you were doing like a sale.
Yeah. It's like no one actually bought my Songbird, and no one actually bought my Injustice one, so
yeah,
that's still there. No, but they debuted Wolf Hunter DLC footage, which was super cool.
Okay.
They've talked about what's going on with this, so they have 2 new dungeons coming out for this DLC. March of Sacrifices and Moonhunter Keep, which is super cool. March of Sacrifices is more or less just like the plotline around that is for the Great Hunt with Hircine, which yes.
That's cool. I'm really glad that, you know, they still support this game a lot, because like you'd figure it didn't do that well when it first came out. People wanted something else, but they were like, oh well, we're just gonna build on that. Well,
Bethesda had a bit more of a hand in it post-launch. So they sent some of the writers over to go help them with like Morrowind and Somerset, which is super cool. The other one, Moonhunter Keep, you actually get to see this whole storyline where Vikoza, who's a werewolf, is taking over Garrison for the Order of the Silver Dawn, complete with an army of werebeasts, and you have to go in and come all out, which is gonna be really cool.
Yeah, that sounds neat.
I know.
So I believe I'm saying the name right. I'm not sure. Kuchuri 690. I'm worried about the new Fallout. They want to take away all NPCs, I guess, and have the players be the store owners and stuff. What do you think about that?
I don't necessarily see that as a problem, to be honest with you. Like we talked about earlier, I think this is a good step for Bethesda. If this game does well, we could potentially see something like this for Elder Scrolls, which I know a lot of people are clamoring for, and we talked about this a little bit, and how people were upset with ESO because it's not a true Elder Scrolls game. I can't look pay, and it's just like, no shit, it's an MMO. But yeah, I don't want to harp on older things.
Koshiri. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't really think it's going to be too much of a problem. Basically, from how it was presented and how I interpreted it was that. Yes, it's going to be mostly player people. You're going to have upwards of like 32 to 36 people on a server at any given time, which is fine. But this map is also 4 times bigger than Fallout 4.
That's crazy.
I know.
That's nuts.
Which is interesting because if you actually break it down and look at the scale, Breath of the Wild is 10 times bigger than Skyrim. So
that's really that's kind of weird for me to think about, because like I love Breath of the Wild, and I'm just like trying to balance those scales in my brain.
I know, it's crazy, work. Right?
Yeah,
it's crazy. So I'm fine with the scale. I'm fine with the fact that they want us to kind of do that. It gives it more of a realistic sense, because it's no longer just, oh hey, like your father's missing and you got to go find them. Your child's missing, you got to go find your child. You got to go find the missing water pump.
There's probably still shit like that in there too.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. But I'm fine with what they're doing. I think this is a good step. It's an innovative step, and I mean, really, what's the worst that's going to happen? It's not going to do as well as they thought, but it still gives them a good grounding point for where they can continue to go with all their stuff.
You guys are gonna buy it, chill. No.
Basically, everyone's still gonna come out and buy it in droves because it's Bethesda, and anything with Bethesda's name attached to it is almost an instant seller.
It's gonna be good. I think so. I don't think anyone has anything to worry about, and I'm excited for them to like get it out there and people to stop your bitching. No, I'm joking.
Basically, don't fret too much. I think it'll pan out in the long run, because you don't necessarily have to be a shopkeeper if you don't want to. You can just roam around, and if you want to be a dick and be, you know, just murder everyone, just realize that people can come after you with a revenge system and get double the bounty.
I'm coming after you with the Thomas the Tank Engine mod. As soon as you hear that whistle blowing, your time has come, my friend.
Let's see, and how long would it take to gather the stuff to sell?
And how can a player go adventure if they need to run the store? It would be a sim-like game. I think that's your choice.
It is your choice, and that's the whole idea for 76. It's designed to be your choice.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is what I think is great.
Anyway.
Okay.
Moving on.
Next up is Wolfenstein VR. They don't really have a set launch date for this one either. Bethesda likes to keep things really hush hush and close to the vest, which is fine.
Is it like a full VR thing, or is it just kind of like a mini game type shit?
At Quakecon they had like a little 10-minute demo, and the article that I was reading about someone who was there and playing it said that the Cyber Pilot demo was intuitive, but it was too short and came off as repetitive. But it was probably just because it was a convention debut. But it wasn't bad. You mowed down waves of Nazis, and then you had this big baddie that you had to fight at the end of the little demo.
Who doesn't want to just murder Nazis?
I mean, always punch Nazis. Curb stomp them if you're feeling gutsy.
Sorry, I said murder. We'll only punch the Nazis. I'm sorry.
I mean...
Yeah, we're gonna murder them.
a dead Nazi's a good Nazi.
Well, this got political anyway.
Yeah, that's fine. But this whole stance on Nazis has been political since day one, and they made no bones about hiding it. Which I think is
Wolfenstein's one of those games that I still haven't played, but it's definitely like I want to play this so bad.
Believe it or not, I didn't play the new one. I got it as a birthday, or no, I got it as a Christmas present for my brother. Oh. I got him the collector's edition with the action figure of BJ Blazkowicz, which, by the way, if you want it, I have a PS4 copy on sale for $35.
Oh, really?
At my store. Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah, I've only got one though. I actually still have the big collector's edition for Dissidia as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's like $180 though, so make sure you're willing to shell out that money.
Not for Dissidia. I mean, I think the character designs and stuff are cool. The gameplay doesn't do that much for me.
I think they announced that the new one that they have with BJ's twin daughters is coming out early next year. I think it's also March, because they've been kind of keeping that under wraps, but I may have read that wrong. Regardless, Wolfenstein is probably one of the best just high action, fast paced slayers that you can get around to. Yeah. Honestly, Wolfenstein took on more of a Doom approach, and Doom took on more of a Quake approach. Yeah. So you can just kind of see where they're blending all of them together, which is what I like.
Koshari, with your issue with Vision, you know, I'm not sure. Okay, so I had a PlayStation VR not that long ago, and it wasn't the most perfect thing. It was cool. It was lots of fun. You might, if you can find a demo unit available to you somewhere, maybe at like a Best Buy or something, and try out VR for yourself, I definitely recommend it, because I don't know if your type of vision issues will mess with the set. You know what I'm saying? If you have depth perception issues, then...
I could see it being a little problematic for me, because I have a PSVR. I actually was really fortunate enough.
I got it when it came out.
I got mine for free.
Yes.
Because Sarah went to conference last year and they gave her one. And because that's what you do at conference, at the manager's conference for GameStop, they wine and dine you and they give you a whole bunch of free shit, which is super cool.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a PlayStation currently, so she gave me the VR last year.
Yeah.
I actually get a little bit of motion sickness with it, so I don't really play it for too long.
The only issue I had with VR at first, because my head gets hot, and it was like fogging up a little bit, and I was like, where's the vents? I thought the vents were supposed to work. After I learned that you have to have the unit on and sit there and get kind of warmed up.
Yeah.
And then it'll warm up also to your face. That was the only issue I had with VR, but when I got it, man, I was showing it off to my friends. We did the shark demo, which was like freaking people out, like, oh, what's going on? VR's cool. I love VR.
VR is really interesting, and PSVR is actually the lightest on the market at £4.
Yeah. It's the lightest, it's the most affordable.
It really is, though. I mean, because if you want to invest in Oculus, you're gonna have to buy a whole brand new PC, which is upwards of $1,000 minimum, to make sure that you can get the right processing power for it. And then you have to pay for the actual headset on top of that, which is another $800. And then it's a big investment. So if you have that kind of cash, I mean, go for it. But don't say buyer's remorse isn't real.
I think we're gonna see a version 2 soon. I wouldn't
be surprised. Sony was very upfront and honest about the fact that it was still a prototype.
Yeah, I think it's you're gonna see. It's maybe we'll have less wires the next one, just like small improvements, nothing too huge. I think one day when VR eventually gets wireless, that'll be totally awesome, but I don't see it happening anytime too soon.
I could see Microsoft kind of leading the forefront on that, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And I feel like if next year is going to be a hardware year, if Microsoft really wants to blow things out of the water, they're going to have to introduce VR. They're going to have to introduce VR, but they might also have to introduce more of a portability feature.
HoloLens is here. No. I know they did that. They did like a HoloLens presentation.
Yeah.
That was interesting. We definitely just got off tangent again.
That's okay.
That's fine.
Yeah. Okay, so next up is Prey DLC.
Cool.
This one's also VR.
Oh, snap.
This one's also VR. So Typhon Hunter has 2 VR modes. And one of them is purely just puzzle-based. You go through a series of rooms and you just solve puzzles. There's no Typhon, there's no mimics, there's nothing coming out and like trying to kill you. It's just pure puzzle-solving fun, like what you might have seen for different things on Talos 1 before the Typhon broke containment. Then the other one is a multiplayer mode. It's hide and seek. So you have one player who plays as Morgan, and then you have like 4 to 5 other players who are mimics.
That's cool. That sounds to me like Friday the 13th and like Dead by Daylight, which went free.
I was gonna say those games are really popular though, and it doesn't really surprise me that Arcane would want to try and see how they fare with their.
It's so weird that those games are popular because I remember when, what was it called? The one game. It started with an O, and it was like 4 other players versus Outlast with the no, Outlast is a horror game.
Outlast was the same thing, I thought. It was horror game, but it was the 4 people and then
a monster.
Yeah,
a giant monster. Is it Outlast?
I think so.
I can look it up.
I know that there was another one similar to that. It was Evolve, but I thought...
Evolve is it? Outlast.
Are we thinking of Evolve?
This is Outlast.
Am I thinking of something different without? I didn't play Outlast, so Evolve. I'm a little shaky.
This is what I was thinking. This is the one where like 1 person is a monster and 4 play. So what I was saying is like with that game, it came out, and then it didn't do well at all. But then you have all these other games coming out that are like it, and they found more success, which is weird to me.
And it's funny because we're kind of seeing the same thing happening this year with Black Ops. So Titanfall, when that launched, we actually, because I was working at GameStop at the time, we actually didn't receive word until literally like 3 weeks before the launch date that it wasn't campaign. It was all multiplayer with campaign sprinkled throughout that.
Yeah.
And people, it was good. A lot of people enjoyed it for what it was, but a lot of people were very, very angry because
I want my thing that's not there that used to be there.
Exactly. And it's funny because they were going based off like statistics that said that like
honestly,
a majority of players for Call of Duty do not even play the campaign. They jump straight into multiplayer.
That's me.
So they were going based off those stats. Yeah. And then wanted to try and integrate that and streamline it, and a lot of people got really upset. And now Black Ops doing it this year. There's no campaign. It's just different little things that are sprinkled throughout.
They're having their blackout mode.
Yeah, I saw that because of course everyone needs to be PUBG.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to be PUBG.
PUBG's in trouble though, I think, with all these, because I'm like, PUBG's great, but Call of Duty does first-person shooter better than anyone else. As far as mechanics, I'm not saying like the game is better. I mean,
PUBG is also like one guy.
Yeah.
In one room.
Yeah. So it's like.
So he's going up against a huge international chain that's been perfecting this for years.
Not only Call of Duty and Battlefield. You got the 2 juggernaut first-person shooter guys both making a battle royale mode. I think Fortnite's fine. I think PUBG has some worries.
I was gonna say, didn't PUBG drop the lawsuit against Fortnite, or is that still going on?
I think they dropped it. I think that's done. But that was interesting. Yeah.
Cool. No, so Prey DLC is going to be really good.
Yeah, I can't wait to actually start my copy of Prey. I'm going to do it.
You need to.
I know, I will.
It was so good.
How long is it? Like a couple hours? 8 maybe?
I know. Well, you can if you want to beat it in that short amount of time, you can. There's actually ways that you can beat the game before you actually get the true ending, which is interesting. You do get achievements for it. Honestly, though, like I spent a lot of time trying to do all the side quests and all the different side things because, like I said in my blog post, like there's all these nooks and crannies around Talos 1 that I just wanted to explore. Like they kind of shoved you in, and it's this weird wasteland. It's just like it's pretty. It's very pretty. It's like an updated, modern New York City. You walk in, and it looks like what you would find in like the Empire State Building. It's very. And they call it Neo Art Deco, which makes me sad because now I want to incorporate that for like everything in my house, and I can't because it only exists inside this one game. And I'm just gonna cry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super in.
God damn it, Arcane.
It looks fun. I need something to play before,
I think my first playthrough I sunk about 28 hours into the game.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so there's a lot.
Cool.
I did pretty much everything that I could. I spent a lot of time crouching and hiding in terror. That's right, yeah. I was like, I don't want it to notice me.
Help me.
Don't find me. Don't look at me. You're scary. But so it's cool because like you can get the drop on enemies.
You totally played Alien Extinction, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
I know you didn't. I didn't. That game was nuts. That game scared me.
Wait, Extinction?
Is it Extinction?
Isolation?
Isolation. I'm drunk.
Yes.
Don't listen to me. I'm drunk. No, I'm drunk.
I actually did watch Markiplier play through that though.
Really?
I got scared watching it. I was just so terrified.
I've seen people play through it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, but that's all I really have from Quakecon.
Yeah, Quakecon, that was cool. Bethesda's doing some dope stuff that we all can't wait to get our hands on Fallout. And
Bethesda's my powerhouse, and I love them.
I'm excited for whenever the new Elder Scrolls does come out.
They said next gen.
A billion years.
We probably won't see this for another 5 years.
What was the other
minimum?
one?
They said Starfield, their first new IP in 25 years.
It's a space one too.
It is.
I'm excited about that.
It is. I'm really excited. There's infinite possibilities that they could go with this. And hopefully it doesn't turn into a No Man's Sky kind of thing.
Dragons in space. It's like they take everything from like the
yes! Space dragons in space.
Space dragons, anyway.
Just space dragons.
So we're gonna go on our last segment. I mean, we've been streaming actually for an hour and 24 minutes.
Good God! All
I
right.
know. It's been a good episode actually. I'm excited about it.
Well, it's a good thing you got me because I'm full of opinions.
No, that's great. That's why I picked you, because you like to talk about stuff. So, and you know stuff that I don't know. Good.
You know a lot of stuff that I don't know.
So there we go. We make a good combo. We're going to talk about Spiderman.
Spiderman.
Are you guys excited about Spiderman? Because wow, I certainly am. Spider-Man. Before you came over, I was watching TV and there was actually an ad on for Spider-Man, and I was like, "Let's go!" Like,
I'm so upset. I missed out on the collector's edition.
Oh man,
with that statue.
Yeah. Actually, I don't even think I have the game pre-ordered.
Believe it or not, I don't either. It's terrible.
I know, but it's one of those things where I'm just like, it's gonna happen.
It's
and
cool
I'm gonna
though,
get
because
it.
I had this whole page dedicated to pre-order bonuses.
So there's been a lot. Oh god.
There's a lot.
There's been a lot of talk about like, oh, with the advertisements, they're spoiling a lot of stuff, and I'm just like,
they're really not though.
I personally haven't seen anything of Spider-Man since E3. That was the last, because I just haven't gone out of my way to look up stuff. You know what I mean?
They've been more or less showing the same couple of things every now and again, with introducing a little bit of new characters every time.
I think it was 2 E3s ago where I was just like, yeah, I'm in. Let's go. I'm so happy. Like, Spider-Man made by Sucker Punch, is it? Or am I tripping?
Spider-Man is made by Insomniac.
That's right. Sucker Punch is not.
So it's the same guys who did Spyro and Ratchet and Clank and My Baby.
Which is weird. You would look at like this title and you're like, those guys are making this? This looks hot. Let's go. Not that those games are not hot.
It's weird though, because Insomniac seems to have this bouncing relationship between the studios. So Sunset Overdrive was an Xbox exclusive, which, by the way, for anyone who's listening, if you haven't played it, hint, hint, Dwayne, I'm looking at you. I hope you're playing it.
He's totally playing it.
I hope so. I know he's playing Street Fighter a lot with Jason right now.
Freaking gotta play as G. G's out, man.
I mean, honestly though, like, let's get real. Soul Calibur's gonna blow everything out of the water when it comes out this year.
No, it's all about SNK heroines.
No,
let's
Soul
go.
Calibur. They announced
wanna play as what female? What's his name from the? Forget the fighting game series. Anyway. They
announced Stamina, which I was really excited about, and then Tira just got announced the other day.
Tira looks good.
Tira's my trash wife.
They had it as like a DLC thing, but I think it's going to be one of those like pre-order and get Tira kind of things, not like an actual like pay this much for DLC pack and get Tira.
If they still have the collector's edition, I might put down on it because it comes with a statue of Sophia, and she's got her shield, and she's got her sword raised up, and a little signature pose.
You got Geralt in there, or Geralt?
No, I have not seen anything for Geralt.
Yeah, Geralt. Sorry. It's cool though.
I had admittedly an ex-boyfriend who was very, very into Witcher, so much that we ended up breaking up over it.
Oh, okay, well, all right.
Oh, that was interesting.
You know, I picked up The Witcher when it first came out, and I played a bunch, but at one point I was just like, this game is really dense. I was just like, I don't know if I can like
There's
keep going.
A lot to it, and I think my issue with Witcher is that I got started with 2 on 360, and whereas the story was good and I was really compelled by it, the problem was that the gameplay was so horrific.
Oh, really?
because it was basically a hasty port from PC to Xbox.
Yeah.
And you could, if I had a keyboard and, you know, Xbox supported that capability, which I'm glad they do now, because I'm definitely more willing to give Halo Wars a shot now that it's no longer controller based. I know they build it up from the ground up for console, but if an RTS is not using Windows a mouse and keyboard, I don't want anything to do with it.
I agree.
But I'm also just an elitist in that respect. If they had an option for keyboard and mouse and, you know, letting me macro all this stuff, it would have been a lot easier. But going through like 5 menus to make a potion and then backtrack out 3 and then go through another 3 just to drink the potion that I just made, it was awful, and it was so unplayable. Admittedly, my brother's playing it right now. He's getting a lot of enjoyment out of it, which is super cool. I'm glad that he's enjoying it. I'm glad that he can, you know, get past the horrible clunky system that it is. I understand that 3 really made a lot of improvements. Honestly, I was a little salty when it won Game of the Year, mostly because I think it was probably just because you could have sex on a unicorn.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like, okay, like, good job. Game. But
yeah, I can't wait for Witcher 3 to oh wait, no, that's not what we're talking about. No. So Spider-Man, no, when I saw, also, what's his name? The guy that voices Sasuke from Naruto is Peter Parker in this game.
Yuri Lowenthal did.
Yep, he's
Sasuke.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He's Sasuke.
Have to go back and rewatch that then. Yuri Lowenthal is one of my favorite actors, and the whole, I mean, he did the male voice for Player in Sunset Overdrive. And when I was playing Sunset Overdrive,
he's doing a lot of stuff.
Did you read my blog on that?
I did.
Yes. So I switched halfway through because I wanted to hear Yuri Lowenthal's voice. Admittedly, his line execution was perfect, and it had been perfect since I saw the original E3 trailer.
Yep. When I saw that trailer,
it's his voice. Like, it's just it makes me happy and warm.
I instantly knew. I was like, because I was a big Naruto fan. I was like, is that Sasuke? I was like, it is Sasuke. I was like, oh, what's his name?
Was it? He was also in Bayonetta as well.
Yeah. I remember. He's doing a lot of cool stuff, man. Anime and game. He's a cool guy.
He's a big nerd, and I love it.
Yeah, it's great.
I heard he's a precious cinnamon roll. One of my best friends got to meet him, and I was like,
that's so cool.
You lucky bitch.
Yeah.
She's the best, though, and I love her.
The game was cool. They announced the last at E3 the 5 villains that were gonna be like mostly in there.
Yeah, they did.
It was Doc Ock, Vulture's in there, Rhino.
Yeah, I've got a lot of them written down here.
Okay.
But yeah, they have Mr. Negative, they have Kingpin, they've got Electro, Rhino, Scorpion, Vulture, Shocker. Yeah. The inner demons which work for Mr. Negative, and
Mr. Negative's new, right?
I think so.
He's like a brand new villain. Yeah.
And I don't really know if Taskmaster's going to be into it. I've heard such conflicting things around it. I've heard Taskmaster's supposed to be the big baddie. I actually don't know.
Do you think Venom will be in this game at all?
I don't think so.
At any point.
I think that they'll make allusions to him, because one of the things that they're talking about is that they've got allusions to other people in the universe as well.
Oh, so, like, Miles is like a thing.
Miles Morales is in there. Yeah, yep. Norman Osborn showing up. Yuri Watanabe. Yeah. Black Cat and Silver Sable. Let's go. Believe it or not, MJ is playable for certain parts of the game.
Really?
Yes. I was really excited when I heard that.
Let's go.
But cool. They're also making references from other areas of the Marvel Universe, so you'll get to see like Daredevil or like the Avengers show up, which is going to be interesting. So maybe we could see a passing reference to Venom, but I don't necessarily think that Venom will be in the game per se.
So this was my thing with this Spider-Man game coming out. I was like, what if we just get like a Marvel video game universe, sort of how we have a cinematic universe, like the Spider-Man is the first one, and then we'll get like, I don't know what else they could do.
Believe it or not, it already exists.
Well, like a new thing, like a brand of like Spider-Man's the first one, and then Iron Man would come out as a game.
Well, they've got they've got Iron Man 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And then they've got the Incredible Hulk, which actually I heard was a pretty decent game. I've never sat down and played it, but everyone I've talked to who's played it said it was good.
Aren't those games based off movies though?
Yes.
I was thinking more like this is its own universe.
Oh,
that's
okay.
what
I see where this is
like
going.
It doesn't have to have like its own, like it doesn't have to be tied to the movies at all. It's like this Spider-Man is a completely different Spider-Man than any Spider-Man we've seen, and if we got like a new Tony Stark, it'd be its own like new Tony Stark that was created just for this universe.
That would actually be really interesting, and I think if Marvel was smart, they would probably try to capitalize on this idea.
That's what I'm saying.
But this is also done through Sony, and Sony still has half the rights to Spider-Man.
That'd be crazy, because Sony would have like a whole cinematic universe from like Marvel, one of the most popular things out there. I'd be like, look what we got. We got Marvel Game Universe. That'd be dope.
And that's the thing, like they already labeled that they have a Marvel gaming universe through Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah. But yeah.
I don't know. Infinite was trash.
Okay, so I don't want to go off.
That those Infinity Stones that came with the collector's edition got used up to make the game not look like shit.
I don't want to go too far off here. I'm talking about Marvel versus Infinite. I think the game looked like it played well, and that's about it. I think everything else about the game just looks...
It wasn't very good.
Presentation is horrible. Roster was horrible. There's no X-Men. You can't not have X-Men. I don't care if it's trying to be like...
Which is funny because they have all the Funko Pops for it and it's literally like Rocket Raccoon and Mega Man.
Yeah, like, come on, man. Come on. But anyway, we were talking about Spider-Man and how we're excited.
No, and then if you look at my notes right here, I've got in little hearts Yuri Lowenthal voices Peter Parker.
Yep, yeah. I know, that was like one thing that just kind of stood out to me that I'm really excited about. The game's coming out soon, man. Like,
yeah, September 7th.
Less than like 20 days.
Yeah, I've actually... believe it or not, if you go pre-order from GameStop, you can pick it up at 9 p.m. on the 6th.
Yeah,
it is a 9 p.m. launch.
Go. See, that's something I always thought was interesting because like everything's becoming digital nowadays,
and that's so part of the reason why GameStop started going.
Hey, you
that
can get
way.
it like 4 hours early, and then you probably will have a faster install because if you get it at midnight, you're gonna have to install the game. If there's a day one patch, you'll have to do the day one patch. Here's your disc at 9 o'clock. So
it makes sense for a lot of people, and there's a lot of people who still believe in physical games. As much as people are saying, "Oh, I'd rather just get digital because I don't want to interact with people." It's like I get that. Like I work retail for a living. There are days when I absolutely just don't want to be in there because I just want to be home. Mm-hmm. I am very much a homebody. I am very much I'm extroverted, but I'm definitely an introvert.
So where do you fall on the physical digital scale here?
Physical,
always. All the way physical.
All the way physical.
Oh man,
I'm okay.
So
I like having those cases.
At first, I was all physical, right? But then I don't know. I started reading things, and I'm just like, I felt like we're just kind of holding on to something. Like just, I don't know. I feel like digital's fine. Like I like digital a lot, and I feel like eventually we will just be that. Because if you look at like movies and music, like nobody, CDs come out. Nobody's really buying CDs anymore, and we're all digital on music. I understand like the want to have something in your hand. Because I like that too. Like when Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out, I'm getting a physical version of that.
Did you pre-order the digital or the deluxe version?
No.
It's still in the system. If you get it, you get a soundtrack selection, you get an art book, and one of the collectible Disney pins with Sora on it.
I'm in. Let's go.
Yeah, it's $80 at launch,
let's
just
go.
so you know.
But anyway, I don't know.
$5 deposit, you're fine.
Physical, digital's cool.
Yeah.
I think physical will always be there. I just think that one day it's going to be sort of like how if you are like, I'm going to go buy a vinyl right now. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's how I think it's going to eventually be.
Eventually everything's going to go that way, but for the meantime, I'm still very much a physical person, mostly because if I get a game and then I'm like, oh man, I need to downsize, I need to move, and it's just like, well, I'm not playing this game anymore and I haven't played it in like 5 years, I'll just go ahead and sell it. Yeah. You know, any money's better than no money.
That's true.
And that's how I feel about that.
Yeah.
So.
Is there anything else you want to say about Spider-Man?
Oh, I think it's going to be Game of the Year contender.
Oh, I think it's good.
I don't think it'll beat out God of War. I think it'll be close, but I don't think it'll beat God of War.
I loved God of War so much.
God of War was so good.
I got the platinum on it. I platinum trophy that game.
See, I haven't done that yet.
I beat it, and then I was just like, that's actually the only platinum I have. Period.
Really?
Yeah, I've never gotten a platinum. I've just never cared enough to.
I was gonna say my only platinum is for Assassin's Creed Origins.
Really? So I have mine. That game was amazing. Dude. What else could compete for Game of the Year? Like, okay, so there's God of War. I think Spider-Man's going to be up there.
Spider-Man's going to be a big contender. You know, there's probably some indie games out there.
Oh, I don't think. Will Smash even make the deadline?
No.
I don't think Smash would even be up there, to be honest.
Smash would be for next year.
It's its own. It's its own thing anyway. I feel like it would just be under as like best fighting game. Because that's their big push this year.
Yeah, and I mean we've had a lot of good games roll out this year, but none have really impacted anything like God of War and Spider-Man are. I have more people excited for Spider-Man than I have for Madden and NBA.
When's Red Dead come out?
Red Dead is coming out October 26th, and this is just with inside the line. Red Dead is going to be another huge contender.
Yeah,
and it would be interesting.
Just because it's Red Dead.
it'll be very interesting to see what happens, because I don't really see Rockstar going up for a lot of Game of the Year editions. I really don't. Mostly because, a lot of it's Grand Theft Auto and you kill hookers and you shoot people. But Red Dead's a beast of its own.
Yeah.
And I have so many people hyped for that. And I think that's the big thing this year, is that people are tired of the yearly titles. I mean, I'm still going to see people coming in from Madden and NBA and FIFA
of course.
and Battlefield and Call of Duty. Like those are staples. Like people are almost always guaranteed to buy it, but I'm not seeing people getting hyped for it like I am for Spider-Man, and like I did for God of War, and like I'm seeing for Red Dead. If you ask me on any given day of my work what people come in and ask me about the most, it is Spider-Man and it is Red Dead.
I think Rockstar could literally just be like, we're announcing the new Red Dead game. It's out tomorrow, and it would still sell just as well. That's
it
how
really would. People would feel like
they would have no lead up to it. They'd be like, "It's out now," and it would just sell. Like
it's part of the reason why people were so upset, because you heard about earlier this year how a Dutch website leaked the launch date for Red Dead?
Yes,
it was supposed to be June 26th, which would have been just after AMA.
Yeah,
and they pushed it back. They said it still needs a little bit more polishes coming in October, and I'm just over here like, all right, Rockstar, I see you over here being petty.
Did you see done. Did you see the gameplay for Red Dead, the trailer?
Yes, they're doing a couple different installments up through its launch date. So this month at GameStop, if you go in, you can go watch this like 10-minute long thing about like the world around you, and of course, like it's weird because like it looks really, really good. It's probably on YouTube, to be honest with you. So if you don't want to go into a GameStop and spend time trying to socialize with people, I get it. I totally get it. But yeah, so like in GameStop TV though, they just bleep out like all the swear words, and then like they have music in the background that fits for the time period, but they just bleep everything out. So it's just like this nice little blank, and it's just like if you're making it sound so obvious.
It's my friend. He's being an idiot. I'm telling your mom. He's doing. Mom's here, okay? She's in the other room, probably taking a nap.
She can probably hear me swearing. I'll have to apologize later.
Oh, she doesn't care. You can swear on my mom or anything. I got her to call my friend a fuckboy. I was like on Snapchat. I was like, say that Jimmy's a fuckboy. She's like, Jimmy's a fuckboy. So.
Me and my brother taught my dad pop culture, so whenever my dad's had a particularly rough day, he'll be like, "This sucks, big green donkey dicks."
So yeah. So anyway, yeah, Spider-Man looks good. Probably game of the year contending. I don't think it's gonna get Gotti, but who knows? Maybe it will surprise us.
It could.
Maybe it'll like make me freaking cry more than God of War.
See, God of War hit me like right out the gate.
No spoilers for anyone that hasn't played it, but man, I love that game.
I was gonna say I'm not gonna talk about it, but for God of War though, it really was about the journey.
It's been a while though, so you probably should have played it by now.
Yeah, but it really was about the journey.
Oh,
like it's stupidly cliche.
One of my friends was like, they were unsatisfied with certain characters not appearing yet because it's going to be in the sequel, you know?
See, they teased that, and I was like, God damn it, Santa Monica, where's my sequel? I need it now.
Yeah, and I was watching a really interesting interview with what's his name, the creator.
Keep it down, kids.
He's an idiot. There was an interesting dude, what was I? Let me lose my train of thought.
We were talking about how someone was upset that they didn't have enough characters.
No, he was doing an interview of the creator of God of War, the director. I forget his name. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and he was just like, at one point we were developing God of War, and we had all this stuff ready to go, and these characters to show up, and we just kind of stopped, and we're like, we need to stop here because we're developing the second game already. So they were just like, we're already so far in, we're like, we need to cut the game here, and this is the first one, and we're already working on it. But that's
so good. They did it in such a good way.
It was good.
I'm really hoping that we kind of see this coming up for Spider-Man as well. A lot of the Sony exclusives have not been disappointing.
When do you think we'll get the next God of War teaser? You think by E3 next time?
Maybe... I'd
say a teaser.
That would be a good best case scenario.
It would be like a really big tease. Yeah.
Kind of like with the Elder Scrolls 6 teaser trailer, and I absolutely lost my shit. Like my dad was already asleep. I'm pretty sure I woke him up because I was screaming at my TV so loud. I was just like, oh my god!
And when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, they're doing it. It's happening.
Of course, I tried to get my brother to come watch it. He was, being his moody self, and I love him, but he gets in his moods, and I'm just like, come on, man, like just sit down with me and enjoy it, and just like scream with me.
That's how I feel about stuff. Like sometimes I invite friends over to like watch video game awards,
and they're just like,
okay, this is cool, and I'm just like, you don't understand right now. Like,
it's like this is my panic.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway. Cool. Well, that was the last topic we were going to talk about. I think we can actually wrap up.
Unless you want to go over the whole pre-order bonus list, because I've got a lot.
You know what? Sure. Why not? Go for it. Let's go.
All right. Spider-Man pre-order bonus. And this isn't just like exclusive anywhere. This is for everything.
Holy shit, this list.
Yeah, it's big. Except for like the last like 3 lines. Those are upcoming gaming conventions.
Yeah.
So the base edition for Spider-Man, if you pre-order it, it's $60, by the way. For the state of Virginia, it's $63.59 with tax. Just as a heads up.
Yeah.
I totally don't have that memorized.
You get a PSN avatar? No,
yeah, sure. So you get a Spidey suit pack, which is MCU Iron Spider, which is going to be super cool. You get Punk Spider, which is super cool, and then you get the Velocity suit, which I'm really excited for. You also get extra skill points, so you get the Edge Up. You get the early unlock of the Spider Drone. I'm not really sure what this means. I feel like they have it in there. It won't be launched immediately, so if you pre-order it, that means that you get to unlock it like day 1 or week 1 instead of like week 2 or 4.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. And you get the PS4 custom theme and then the PSN avatar, which is going to be super cool.
And that's just basically just for reserving it.
Yeah.
Nothing special, like $60.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, that's a lot of free stuff. That's good.
Cool, yeah.
And then you have the digital deluxe version, which is $80, and you get everything above that. You also get City Never Sleeps DLC, which is coming out in March.
Cool.
As post-game content for Spider-Man, which is super cool. And then you get a physical pin.
I'm down for that.
Collector's edition is $150. You get everything with that, so you get the City Never Sleeps, all the stuff that came with the base edition. But you get a cool steelbook. You get a sticker.
Fuck yeah.
You get a sticker. You get a mini art book, and then you get the statue by Gentle Giant.
Nice.
Which I don't know if Gentle Giant is selling other things on their website for Spider-Man. I might have to go take a look at that just because I really wanted that statue. And then of course there's the PS4 Pro. This one is sold out.
Oh, it's like
almost everywhere.
The console bundle.
Yes. Whoa. So you get the game.
It looks really nice.
You get the physical copy of the game, which comes inside of it, and it's red with that white spider and the red and white DualShock. It looks amazing, and if I was going to upgrade, I would have upgraded to this one, but I missed out. So I'm just going to hope and pray that we get a Kingdom Hearts one.
Please, that's day 1.
Supposedly it's coming, but I don't know if it's going to just be a Japanese exclusive.
I will drop money on that one. Honestly, I was looking at this 500 million limited PS4 Pros.
Dude, that one was beautiful.
They're so cool.
We couldn't get any in our stores.
These guys don't even have any for like pre-orders?
No, they wouldn't let us pre-order it. It was literally like, hey, you can only buy these on our website. Best of luck. It's Hunger Games Part 2.
Was it 500 or 50,000?
500,000.
And it's so cool because it comes with a number. The manufacturing number's on the front. I'm like, oh, what number?
And it's like
2 terabytes.
It was like translucent navy blue and like so copper plating.
Blue's my favorite color.
God, money. It was so pretty.
Consoles, money. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, so that was the last one, the PS4 Pro.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and then I just have some of the other upcoming Gamescom. So, like, Gamescom's going on right now, which is what we kind of covered.
Yeah, so things might be announced tomorrow or the next day. Sorry, we won't be able to cover it until the next episode, which also, hopefully, we'll have a name for the podcast, because we don't have one yet.
I'm terrible at
right now, it's just the Emmy Steve show. So, featuring GIFs on Twitch. But yeah, we'll do that.
We've also got coverage coming up from Gamescom is in Chantilly.
Really?
Yeah, it's in DC. So if anyone around here wants to take a day trip up, and I mean, feel free if you see Bethesda people to drop my name.
Check that out.
Just be like, hey, there's a person.
She writes a thing. Here's a link.
Like,
sounds really good. And then
I was hoping that I could go and network, but this falls at the end of the GameStop Managers Conference, so unfortunately I can't go.
Oh man!
Because GameStop mandates that I have to close.
Yeah, I understand.
So a little disappointing, but that's fine. There's always next year. Besides, it's not just that. Like it's a big thing for the fighting game community right now out there too.
Guess so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I
love fighting games.
Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of stuff revolving around that. From what I understand, there's going to be a pretty big thing for Fortnite. There's also bring your own PC stuff. I think there's going to be some tabletop stuff as well.
Nice.
Yeah, and then PAX West.
PAX West, woo, that's going to be cool.
That's going to be really, really good.
I went to PAX East twice, and I loved it so much.
I remember you telling me about that one year, and I was like, super jealous.
It was the funnest shit ever, man. I went there, and I really... Like, you always think, like, oh, man, I want to go to E3. I've never been to E3 or whatever. And they just recently started doing, like, public E3.
Yeah, they started that up again, not this year, but the year before that, and which I was happy about. But it's still expensive as hell.
Yeah.
It's like $200.
When I went to PAX East, I was like, I'm here. I felt like I was like, because there's so much industry shit going on. You have all the booths. Like, I see this huge thing that says like Bandai Namco, and I'm just like, what the fucking... I
was gonna say PAX is a really good place to go. I heard Con Alt Elite is another really good one to attend as well.
Yeah, I heard about that one, but I'd love to go to PAX East again. I would go to PAX West too, but the only time I've ever been on the West Coast for a convention, I went to Anime Expo one time.
Really?
Yeah.
I wanted to go this year because they had the girls from Aquas out there.
Yeah.
They also had one of the teams off of AKB,
Ooh.
Which I was really excited about. Yeah. I love AKB.
You ever been to Anime Expo? No? Never?
No, the furthest west I've been was Vegas, and that was like a makeup trip from my dad because the year before we went out to the Midwest. I have family out there. In case you want a really awful joke. It's called God's Country because no one wants it. Seriously though.
Yeah.
Seriously though, and actually it's funny because in that Rockstar trailer for Red Dead where it's talking about the world, they have this guy and he's like this is God's country, but I feel like I'm in purgatory, and I'm like, it's God's country because no one wants it. And of course, I had a couple of people in the store and they laughed at that, and I was like, I feel good about myself right now. Thank you for laughing, sir.
My brother's out in God's country.
Where's he at?
He's in Vegas.
Oh, Vegas. No, that I attribute that with like West Coast. I'm thinking like literally like.
Oh, yeah, that makes more sense.
Like right there. And of course, Texas is his own thing. Texas is always his own thing, kind of like Russia's always its own thing.
Yeah.
Which I had this really weird thought the other day. I was like, so like if they have like the Water Nation and then like the
I saw that picture.
And then it's just like propane and propane accessories. I feel like that's like Europe and Asia, God. And then there's Russia. So you have like all the like the water and the firebenders, and then you just have Russia, and it's just like vodka and potatoes. Which is terrible.
Yeah.
But
cool.
Yeah, no, yeah. I would love to go to AX. I think that would be amazing.
It's cool. When I went, it was a long time ago when I went. It was a little crowded, but it was huge. It was really huge. It was hot.
Well, isn't it in the same venue where they pretty much do E3 whenever it's out in LA?
It's the exact same location.
With the Microsoft Theater.
Which I didn't even know that when I went to Expo, and when I had like left afterward, I was like, I was at the E3 venue. What? Let's go! Like, it's big. It's big.
I would really. No, that's
really cool area. Really cool place to be around. It was hot when we went. This is during the summer, I believe.
Yeah.
And there's just people like trying to sell bottles of water right outside the door. You leave, they exit, and there's like these people going, "You guys want a hot dog? Like, let's buy a hot dog." I was like, "Okay, we're in the city." Like,
but I mean, it's you can't replace the water guy from Oda in Baltimore.
Oh, dude, he's like singing and like passing out
with ice cold water, just $1. Yeah, I love him.
I've been to Otakon twice. One was at the old venue, and then I went at the new venue.
Vegas is backcountry.
I don't even know, man.
We can't stop now.
Get out of here. This is backcountry. All right. Well, we've been podcasting for almost 2 hours now.
Wow.
That's great.
That's a long time. Wow.
And I feel like we covered a lot of awesome stuff.
We really did.
Because I remember I did my podcast before, and I tried to stretch things out, but I didn't need to this time. This is great. So we're gonna go ahead and close the podcast this week. Things will be going on. We're gonna try and do this once a week, right? If you'd like to, if you can. We'll see how things go. I don't know if it'll be on a Wednesday again next week, or if
I was gonna say it could be on Wednesday. It might just be after 5.
Who knows? Who knows?
It really depends.
It'll be around Wednesday. It could be Thursday. Who knows?
Hi,
Max. There's my doggy.
You're a good boy, and I love you.
Okie dokie. So I'm gonna close out by letting you plug whatever you want to plug. If you have a website or a Twitter handle, go for it.
Don't have a Twitter handle. You can find me on Instagram at thatnerdemmy.
Okay.
It's just EMI because I just chop off the LY for my name. I don't like it.
Okay.
I also have a blog. It's on WordPress. You can search for it either by using my online handle, thatnerdemmy, or you can search for it with Emmy Duncan.
Yep.
Or you can even search by the actual blog name, which is Waxing Secunda. Which, if you're a hardcore Elder Scrolls nerd. That's also the name of one of the moon cycles.
And I will have all that information in the description of whatever I post this podcast on, whether it be YouTube or SoundCloud. I will probably also add that information to my Twitch's bio stuff.
I was gonna say I've got a Twitch account as well, and whatever
you can do that.
I was gonna say whatever you have, because I'm more than happy to cross promote.
Sure, yeah.
Credit goes where credit's due.
Yeah, so
you're the one hosting this.
Oh yeah, thank you. So you can follow me obviously on the Twitch channel that you're on right now, which is twitch.tv /Subasa4K. And if you Twitter is Subasa4K. Twitch.tv /SubasaHD. And then if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Subasa4K. And I don't post a lot of stuff on Twitter. I mostly retweet things, but if I get more followers, I'll start just writing things more, I guess. That's about all where you can follow me. I don't have a YouTube link, but I'll probably have one ready in the description, like I said. And we're gonna close here. Thanks for doing week 1. Bye.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Bye. Bye, everyone in the chat. Matt, eat a dick.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.